All right, guys, welcome to another MVP Friday. This week, we have the one, the only, the Mr. Trent, man from Punchy, Trent Ewan, the guy with the magic thumbs. Whatever you want to call him, he's an absolute fucking legend and one of the absolute hardest workers I know, and also got an incredible story. So really excited to have you on today, bro. Thank you for, getting out of bed before lunch, which is cool. No, really excited to have you here, bro. So man, just for a minute, bro, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the background, your fitness industry background, where you've come from, that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, first of all. So been in the industry for about 20 years now. You kind of get lost after the first 10, isn't it? I started as a trainer, like everyone else, and then decided to try my own first powerlifting comp, got introduced to powerlifting. Then I opened my own gym, started one, then ended up with three. Specialised in strength training, rehab, and pretty much anything to strength on that side. And that's pretty much the short of it, really.
Cool.
Yeah, I reached the peak of it. So I have owned gyms before, not that I haven't, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
When you say the peak, man, like what was sort of some of the highlights you sort of had in your fitness career before you became
Yeah, so coaching myself to world championships in powerlifting, multiple world champions, record holder, which got broke by some crazy Russian, but as they do, and then coaching clients from a bodyweight squat to world championships like 380 squat, and the girls to like 200 something squat, whatever it is. So they were world champions and staying competitive with the other coaches, not just here but around the world, because there are some freaks out there. You know what I mean? So if you're good, there's always someone better, and that drove me to be better as well. So that's the highlights of it. And just personal growth through that period as well, was the mentality has to change as you're working, you're training 6 months just for an extra 2 kilos. so it's a bit like that as well. So yeah.
How did that, man, maybe that, like, just understanding that, hey, look, you trained for 6 months to add 2 kilos to the bar. How do you think that sort of maybe transferred over to your business?
Yeah, it's the old rule where at a certain point we have to put the reps in. We don't see it while we're in it. But at the end there is there is a bigger goal at it. But you're already so far ahead of the curve than everybody else. But at the top, it's a lot of work for that little piece of reward. But it's a big piece of reward because you're already at the pinnacle of it. But there's a lot of work. The reps, turning up, the standard stuff that we coach our clients, consistency, turning up, or the mindset is huge at that. It's all about mindset, I would say, at that stage, because the training programs are all the same, but it's whether or not that person misses. If you do 300 sessions that year, whatever it is, they do 290, you're ahead already. Kind of thing, if they're running on the same kind of like program, whatever it is, method as well. Okay, so and that's the what I transfer to Ed Mumba. And my business is some days I don't want to get up. Like, I'll be honest, I don't want to get up, but I turn up. My alarm gets up at 5:30. I have to get into the routine. Pull out the calendar. I already know that. I don't really look at the calendar because I know it. I've done it for so long now. That I just get it done. It's a set routine now, and you just know that you have to turn up, and there's a goal at the end of it, whatever it may be. And then when we reach that goal, yes, and do it all again, doesn't it? Never ends.
Never ends, probably. No, there's good quote by, I don't know who said it, but there's no finish line.
No, there isn't.
There isn't. There's no finish line. And I think for people like us, we probably don't want a finish line. No,
I actually don't. I don't really want a finish line because there's no right now, a deep emotional side here is I'm finding after being a mamba for so long is the fact that there's no purpose. I actually need a purpose in life. I don't. I'm the type of person that has a bit of OCD kind of thing, where if I don't have a purpose, I won't do it.
Yep.
And a purpose meaning there's goals. So whether it be that small, that big, obviously small goals add to the big goals, but I'll reach that small goal and then go to the next level. Same as training, we hit a 5 kilo PB, 200 squat, go 205, 210, train another 3-4 months for another 5 kilos. And I relate that back. I try to, it's hard when some people don't come from that background. I know the of us here have. We've always tried to reach a new PB, where it may be running or whatever it is. We know there's the end of it. It's going to incrementally increase us, and that translates over to the business as well. So that's what I use in driving me to be who I am in my business as well. So yeah.
If you could turn that into a sentence, bro, what would that sentence be?
Oh, how do you turn that sentence? Just keep showing up, really. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. That's pretty. Just keep showing up and put in the work. It's pretty simple.
Yep.
Yeah, work in private pays in public. That's really good, Josh. I like that. There you go. Josh handled that. I'm not a man of very good words, really. I just do the work. I'm one of those types. Put the head down and keep going. Yeah.
That's it, bro. Nah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So man, probably 15 months ago, sort of before you sort of joined up with Mamba, and you had a heap of stuff going on in your life, and you're almost, just from our stories, bro, or our chats, you were sort of thinking about throwing in the towel with the industry. What was sort of, the pain points, maybe just those uncomfortable truths that you were sort of looking at and thinking about, and what made you sort of think, hey, shit, maybe I need a bit of help, maybe I need to change direction here?
Yeah, it's like we all got hit by the lockdowns and COVID, and I hate that C word, but it's not an excuse. Everyone went through it. No one's special. I'm not special. No one else is. Yep. I think it will hit everyone. But before that, obviously, as most know, my story is that I was homeless and sleeping on a park bench and all the other stuff coming out of jail 5 years ago. And so I built it, and then COVID came around and, worked 12, 13-hour days to there. And it's hard when you get COVID coming around, just kick the feet from under you, and I went back to pretty much, look, it wasn't as bad at starting over, but like you work all the way to get here, and then you go back down, and then we climb back up and then rebuild again. It happened several times, obviously, as well. So you start doubting yourself. The truth I had to face was that, can I do this? Can I do this? I know a lot of trainers out there just gave up after the lockdowns and that, and decimated the industry like everybody else. And I was like, I have that mindset now. I'm not going to give up. I looked at myself in the mirror. I goes, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? Do you want to go back to working in the office? Before I was an engineer, before I was a coach. So, and my passion isn't sit behind a desk and look at us. And I was getting paid quite well, but that wasn't what I want to do. It's not like I want to wake up to something that I love doing. This is pretty much it. Love helping other people, but also not restrained by someone else telling me what to do. I build my own future, my own path to where I want to go. And the possibilities are limitless. So I had to look at that again, reassess. I jotted down what I wanted, and that was pretty much it. So never give up attitude, really. Just be a complete. I mean, I'm not going to swear, but complete all about it, deep head about it, and keep going. Yeah.
How come you just didn't go back into full-time in-person PT?
Yes, that one. During lockdown, I had a lot of time to think. I think a lot of us did as well. I can't. I'm getting to the age. Look, I'm not old. I'm 45, turning 46, but I had done, over 15, 16 years of in person and running a gym and that. And I was like, I was trapped within four walls. You feel trapped, like you are trapped. You're constrained within the four walls, and and also having been in a locked cell for 2 years and 2x2 meters, it kind of like pushed that mentality as well. That I shouldn't. There has to be a better way to help people do what I love and then make extreme amounts of money at the same time. Okay, so I was like, okay, I'm going to give this online a crack, because I tried it before with other coaches, but it didn't work because either it was myself or them, whatever it was. It just didn't work. I go, look, I'm going to give this one more crack as well, and plus I don't like being told what to do by other people. I go into the office and some guy's telling you about this project needs to be done and deadlines, and you're staying back at work and you're on, you can't build the future, the pathway of future that you want, the vision that you want, waiting for somebody else. I'm just going to be blunt and say that outright as well. So
yeah, for sure, bro. No, I love it, man. Like, bro, like, obviously it was quite a funny story. Like, when you started with us, well, probably just before, you've worked with coaches before, you had doubts and fears. Like, what were those doubts and fears you sort of had with us? And then maybe you could sort of tell the story about, the first week of Mumby, you sort of said, nah.
Yeah, look, I've worked with the others, and I think it was also that I didn't really understand the online, and I was one of those ones that I thought this program, I go in, I do nothing, and I just get leads coming through and converted, and they walk through my door. They paid a lot of money, and obviously they must have preyed on that at the same time. That's just how the industry is sometimes. And having done a few of those, you're very skeptical. A lot of us have been in certain situations like that where you've tried it before and you're very skeptical. So it's like, is this Mamba bloke Dylan is going to be like the others, Steve, John, whatever it is, the 10K coaches out there as well. And basically, I thought, yep, why not just give it a go? Because it had just come out of COVID. I joined the month after we came out of lockdown here in Sydney, and I thought, one last go, let's give it a crack. I joined, and then I came in and I was like, shit, I have to do all this work myself. So I looked at your portal, I was like, holy fuck, I got to do this, student language, all this, and well, yeah, you have to. I'm realizing now that that's maybe who I am today. So the tools are given to you. It's whether or not you're going to start digging. It's just because you're given a shovel. If you're not digging, it ain't going to work. And then obviously having a chat to you, like, look, just we'll you went through a couple of things on that course, and that was pretty much on the portal, and the rest is history. So I went through it and did it.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And fuck, man, like, I guess that was pretty cool, man. Like, it was a good reflection for me because, like, every time, like, I'm the same as you, man. I just want to help people, and I really, really love it. And like, it made me look really, really hard at like what we were doing, and then like, oh shit, we didn't have a blueprint. And I just wrote you out a list, and I was like, bro, do this, you'll be a 250K coach. And I remember about 6 months ago. Yeah, about 6 months ago, you're like, I've ticked off everything on that list. And you gave
me that 250K, and I was like, is this guy mad? Because and I was like, okay, what else you got to lose? Just do it,
Yeah, well, at the time, I just broke down like everything that I did to sort of get to that 5K a week, and I was like, oh, well, you do this, and it worked.
Yeah.
And the thing is, man, like about 6 months ago, you're like, oh, I've done everything on that list. And you're making 30 grand, you're killing it. So nah, it's very cool, bro. And man, throughout the time, what do you think, maybe in terms of, what you've learned, who you've become, but I guess the community aspect as well, man, because I know that's like the biggest thing you always talk about is the community of Mamba. And So maybe, bro, just about, I guess, reflecting back on the journey, what have you found most valuable over the last sort of 15 or so months?
In Mumba itself, being inspired by the rest of Mumba who are on the same journey, it's really inspiring. Because sometimes when we get to a certain point, we forget where we came from as well, because we get comfortable and the systems, you just do it every day, but you forget, okay. So basically the guys that are coming through push me to get up as well. Like I get up, but okay, all right, the other guys are also coming through and they're working hard. They're all doing the process. I'm going to do that as well. That's the community aspect that I love, is that we're all sharing, our ups and downs, but also our wins and our frustrations and that. And that is part of that. I love that community within Mumba itself. Doing it alone, and I've realized this now, doing it alone as an online coach is very, very boring. It is very, very, very boring. I sit here all day. I don't leave the house. I've actually now started doing one-on-ones to get over the boredom. I know, funny, trying to get away from one-on-one and going back to it for a few sessions to get out of the house, to interact like a normal human instead of staring at this wall. But the community is one of the key factors. We all follow the same structure, do the same things. The schedule's pretty much the same. They're the same for everyone, and so what everyone else is doing is also inspires me to make certain changes, like fill the gaps if there was any in my the whole process. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's sick, bro. And man, I have to credit you with a lot of stuff, because whether it was through your own innovation or highlighting areas we could improve, like I think together, man, like we came up with some fucking cool stuff. And in terms of some of those gaps, bro, what do you think along the way, was a bit of a light bulb moment that made you realize, this is how it works, and maybe just a little bit of detail around maybe when you sort of realize like how Sell by Chat works, all of those sorts of things, and maybe some tips along the way with that.
So when I started, I knew I could coach, but how do you coach online? It's in person I'm going to be quite blunt here. It's very different to in person. You can't communicate the cues, you can't expressions, the emotions, the connection to translate it across. How do you get someone to do a hip hinge kind of thing? How do you get them to do the work? So it requires another level of skill sets. It's not saying it's harder, it's just different. You need to upskill and learn. So that's one of the gaps that I found early. And then obviously actually selling. I hated selling. When I first started, I was like, you need to do Sell by Chat. You need to start selling, Trent. I'm like, I don't really want to do it. I think that was because I also quit as well first week. I go, what? This guy wants me to sell. I was like, okay, no. But coming back, I said, look, one of overcoming that limiting belief, I was like, I'm going to put everything I have into learning the Sell by Chat, because without sales, there is no business as well. Obviously, the content marketing is key, but there are a marriage at the end of the day. So you need to put in the other. So I put the first three months into learning that Sell by Chat. That was a gap in the whole business side, and then later on down the track, it's filling the gaps in retention and stuff like that. Obviously, but you can't fill the gaps in retention if you've got no clients. So it's like, why you only got 2 clients? We're trying to fill what retention you're trying to fill. But obviously, 80, 90 clients. It's a problem. It's a good problem, but you'll get when you get to that bridge, you'll cross. You try to cross that bridge when you get to it, and that was it pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Man, and just on that, I remember saying to you, because we're always talking about retention and stuff, and I remember saying to you, it's like, bro, about 80 to 100 clients, everything's going to fall apart. And almost on that day, like when you hit 80 clients, it fell apart. And I know, bro, like there was through that sort of, through going through that process, fixing that process, you had a heap of emotional roller coasters. Sort of.
Dummy spit in the chat. I chucked the dummy spit. I wouldn't lie. I chucked the dummy spit. I was actually going to. I hate to say, I was going to quit. Like I just was like, fuck, it's like shit. Like is like this is where I wanted to be. It's like, why can't everything just work?
Easy.
It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And got to that point, and I was like, nah, I've worked this hard, all these hours, last 6-7 months to get where I am. I'm not going to pull the plug. I wasn't going to quit. I was just like, you get in your head, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I have to plug that gap. And you're right, 80 was where I got stuck. You've done it yourself, so you say it's good to learn. And that's what I respect about it. Is like, you've done it. Some coaches say, tell me, this and that, but they've never done it themselves. You've done it, so I know that I can lean on you and go, I'm at 80, I'm feeling like this. And you're like, okay, that's normal. This is what's happened. This is what you need to do. Okay. And it really helped me push to the 100 and beyond, obviously. Yeah. So it's really good. And I thank you for that.
No, it's all good, bro. And like, what's that, man? What is maybe one or two things? Like now you're at 130 odd clients, maybe even more. I know you sort of work closely with Paul. You sort of worked on your retention systems. What's maybe 3 to 5 dot points that really helped take you from that 10, 15K a month to 25, 30K a month? How did you sort of make that transition?
The first 10K. From 10 to 20 is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
First 10 was just me selling to everyone, pretty much. I just put my head down and just DM people. So I did one-on-one in the morning, 5 to 5, and then from 5 till 1 o'clock in the morning, I slept 4 or 5 hours. It was, don't follow what I do. I'm just not normal doing that, but did that to get to that first 10K. But also wanted to upskill my chat. Now, the thing that did that 3 months, but obviously at the same time, I realized that my content wasn't the best it could be. And I this, I told you all the time, I think my content shit. It's getting better. But the thing is, like, I had become very good at the sales, but the content, if the content is really good, the sales become a lot easier. So instead of us standing on the street going out pamphlets and going, hey, buy my shit, they look at you and go, Trent's, I know that guy Trent. I've seen his stuff. It's been really good. I'll come up and talk to him. This is us dragging someone, outside of Coles or something, and you've done it yourself, trying to sell to them, and it's a lot harder, and it'd be very hit and miss. So it wasn't a very efficient way to make the sales. So I had to refine that from 10K. The avatar niche had to refine it from 10K to 20K, and refine it a lot more, so that now people are reaching out to me, and I get now 2 to 3 people messaging me in my inbox every week, because I've refined it, and it's a continuous evolution of your content until you become that person that everyone turns to, like that our knees over toes guy and stuff like that. So that's the thing that I've noticed after 10K, is that I was comfortable, like not comfortable. 10K is good. It's good money. It's a lot. It's good. It puts a roof on my head and my kids and my family and that. But to go to the next level, you have to improve that gap, which was for me the content side. Okay, and I know for some others it's probably the sales side. So if you guys are there and your content's really good, but you can't convert, then you know where the problem lies, obviously, as well. For me, it was the reverse. The front end wasn't pulling in the people, and it could sell, but it was hard. But now it's a lot easier as well. Yeah,
absolutely, bro. And like now, man, you've shifted focus again, and now you're sort of looking to become a high ticket coach, like for high performers. In terms of, I guess, your avatar, your niche, and working through that, bro, like what's that process look like?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. When I first started, it was just saying to everyone, so, weight loss, the standard weight loss, fat loss, very singular kind of like avenue in terms of how we help people. I wasn't very big on mindset as a coach before. I'll just tell people, look, don't be a bitch and go squat 200, but that's not the right way to do it.
With that, man, well, let's maybe unpack that, because at that time it probably was the mindset that they needed, for those 200 kilo squats, for those world records, and it's slightly different. Are you seeing any of the similar mindsets that might not be as, say, David Goggins, but are still relating to what you're doing now and for these other high performers?
Yeah, no, it's basically the works on the level system, level 1, general pot, and the ones I came to me already had the mindset that they wanted to be the best in the world at the time. So that would work on them. But as we know, when we're coaching, there are different personalities that come into your coaching space, and you have to change the way you approach it at the same time. So now in this space here, I can now classify them as in the different levels, and then be able to change the way I coach them slightly to facilitate a result out of them as well. So in this high ticket here, it's more than just on the physiological aspects. It's the mindset that I'm now really working on, and lifestyle as well, because we know that in online versus one-on-one, the massive change, the massive difference is the 23 hours that they're not with us. So it's the nutrition, the mindset, the lifestyle. How can we help them in that space? Because anyone can, as we know, can get in and pick up a barbell and do some curls, do whatever it is, and say they worked out. The other 23 hours define the results they get in the gym. So if they have an argument and bad day at work, stressed out of their brains, kids running everywhere, whatever it is, their workout is not going to be as intense. Yes, some people have the mindset where they can switch, but not everyone is built like that. I would say a lot of people are built like that. So the high ticket I'm working on now is to build them not just in the physiological space, but the mental space as well. So now that's why my saying now is a stronger body and mind leads to fulfilling life. Because if you can balance both of them, you're going to achieve anything. And it's targeted towards business owners too now. I'm working business owners who want a stronger body and stronger mind, so that they can overcome, just like myself, overcome anything that gets thrown their way, whether it be lockdowns and divorces, whatever it may be that comes in their personal space. They can use that training towards their business and keep growing and keep going when things look like very bleak as well. Okay, because business isn't straight. It's not. We know it's ups and downs. We know it as well. So if I can teach them that in their high ticket, then that's where it's headed. Yeah.
Amazing, bro. Amazing, man. Let's play a bit of a, I don't know if the word is or the phrase is devil's advocate, but let's pretend, bro, you were to reopen a gym, because I know you've sort of had this in the back of your head a couple of times. What you've learned from online, bro, and like being a previous gym owner, what you sort of know and like done in the past before, it was a strength and conditioning focus. With what you know about online now, how would you take maybe some of the skills, or would you take some of the skills that you now have in terms of your online business to improve your delivery of your in-gym service?
Delivery of the gym, or to build the gym itself?
To both, I guess, both, not so much the marketing side of things, but let's say the delivery and retention of your clients. Do you think the stuff that you've learned now, how would that sort of work on that end?
Oh, yeah, massively. Before, as I said, like I just have that mindset where I'm going to treat everyone like a level 2, level 3 coming in. No bullshit. That's it. Don't be a bitch. Why haven't you done it? There's no regard for their personal life. as well. And I found that as soon as they hit their goal, they burnt out before, and it was such a thing to get them back into that mode again, because all it takes, as we know when we're going through it, is something on your personal or lifestyle to change, and it all falls apart, because we know training each week accumulates from the week before. So if I was to do the gym again, I'll have a different kind of like approach to, I would look at more of a holistic point of view from their work, their family, their mindset, and then be able to place them in more of a program, not just the actual training program, but also add the lifestyle component in there. So that, okay, so I know you'd only get 4 hours sleep because of the kids. So the training program will only be 3 days or 2 days a week, but it'll be a lot more longer. So that now you have more time, and you don't have to stress over training because you've got, kids running around, or you've got a busy job or whatever it is. And but also stress and anxiety management, which I'm doing now, will be included. I never did have any of that before, and I had people leave because I didn't know how to coach it back then. I do now because I've started online, and it's been a massive thing as well in terms of retention. And also I've got a couple of guys who are on antidepressants and on weed, and he's actually, a lot of them have stopped smoking weed after I think 20 years on it. So it's been 4 months without weed, and it's been really, I wake up every day, I'm actually making a change to these guys. They message me, Coach, it's week 4, I have not touched a bud, I have not touched any CBD whatsoever. I'm thinking clearer, I'm moving better, I'm more energized, that all the positives out of it as well. So, and I'm talking about chronic people who smoke every day because they have to. That's, I'm not going to get into it, the casual guys, but so that's, and that really, if I had to open a gym, I know how to handle that as a coach. And that will help my retention massively, because if you can solve their stress and everything else that's going outside into their training, they will turn up to training with a lot more zest, and they will achieve a lot more as well, if it makes sense. Yeah. So there are more components to that. And obviously, if I run the gym, I'll be able to charge more as well. Hey, Leah.
Yeah, for sure, man. Nah, I love that, bro. And probably one of the coolest things you said there, bro, and it sort of lit me up, because it's like, shit, I just know a lot of people I grew up with, they're probably still smoking bongs, they're probably having a hard time, and like for what you're doing now, bro, and you're having such a massive impact on a lot of people, how does that make you feel? And maybe just a couple of specific stories, and what is the impact? Let's say 3 years down the track, what is the impact of Miyagi Strength, wherever it heads on the world? What is that impact looking like?
Right now it's good, because I'm helping a lot of these guys who are trying to. One story here is this guy. He had a business, went through a whole. He was drinking a lot because his marriage fell apart. I feel that because that's what happened to me. I went down that path when I got on the coke and ended up in jail, all the other stuff, So I relate to it very, very well. So I'm trying to, with the guys that would have an addiction of some kind at the moment, they had their businesses, they lost it, got divorced, whatever it is, they're in shambles and they're at rock bottom. I've got 2 now that have rebuilt. They're starting on the road back. They've got a job now because they were living out of housing commissions and out on the street as well. And they're starting back now. They sent me a message saying, I've got a job, Coach, and it's really good. Excellent. And then obviously I'm able to help them now rebuild the next steps. So, but at the same time, obviously, they were quite fit before, and obviously let themselves go. And so it's a duality thing, where the mindset of helping them in their lifestyle, and then bring up also the physiology side as well. So mental and physiological side coming up together. And at a certain point, they're gonna meet, and they hopefully they want to rebuild their businesses like they did before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just on that, man. Have you found that one works without the other, or do they have to become, like, in terms of results you've had? Like, have you just worked on the mindset, or have you just worked on the physiology? Like, have you found that the results you're getting now, are they have to come together, or is it something they can do separate?
Oh, they have to come together at a certain point. At the beginners, like a beginner at a certain point, like, if you're going, starting squat, just body weight, it's not as much effort needed. But at a certain point, as we said, the driving force will be your mental state. It has to come in. But if you can set that from the start in your clients from the start, that it's going to get hard. But if you keep turning up and input the right, how shall I say, the mental aspect into them, that they'll be able to turn up and do the work, even when later on when it gets hard. Obviously, the seed is planted from the beginning. Yeah, so that not just, so we, as coaches, I think as coaches, we, no matter who comes in, we look at the gaps, we fill them, so that later on, and this will help retention as well. Later on when it gets hard, they will stick to it because you've already coached them from the beginning of when they started as well. So, and yes, some other coaches might look differently, but I believe the mental and the physiological aspect has to go together. Otherwise, as a business, and that's why I've kept my retention to where it is now at 90+%, is because of that. I work very hard on the mental aspect. Anyone can download a program and run it. It's the other aspect that, as a coach, we need to implement in as well.
Awesome, bro. And man, thinking back to the coach you were before Mamba and the coach you are now, maybe what's the difference there?
The coach for now. Before it was very hard. I was just not very empathetic towards the clients. They're outside lives. They'll come to me and go, Trent, I've got I've just separated from my partner, or I've just lost my job. And I'll be like, okay, all right, so what do you got for training today? it was like that. I wasn't very empathetic towards them. And I just just harden up and get it done. But as a coach now, I look at it more from a holistic point of view, that if I can help guide them in doing, so I've started doing breath work, implementing breath work, not on a scale like others, but little key components, the very level 1 basics. I'm not going to level 3, just implement stuff like that, basic nutrition changes, and other aspects, so that they will help them through this period of their lives at the same time. Because we know that when these periods come along, people let themselves go. It's very common as well. So if I, as a coach, can help you through this period, you'll come out the other end even better.
Yeah. Huge. Cool. Man, and if you were to go back now and write your own 250K blueprint, what would be the steps you would follow?
I actually just wrote it. I actually worked it out. Would work on finding out who you want to coach, who you want to coach, what gets you up in the morning as a coach, and then enact the Mamba blueprint, which is do the content based off that, and then do your obviously learn the sales around it, and pretty much the rest of what is taught in Mamba. Actually, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, it's in Mamba. So, but the main thing there was you have to have a reason to turn up as well, because if you don't believe in it, then it's like I just turning up. And look, to be honest, when I started, I did it for the money. Like, I won't lie, I did it for the money because I was broke. It's like $500 in my account every week, and I had to pay rent to pay. But now, looking back, and as I refine the niche and help more people, now where I am now, I'm very happy that I am able to facilitate a change in who I coach, and be able to impact people's lives in such a bigger space as well, to see them come from where they are to who they could possibly be as well. And all they need is just someone to guide them through that space as well. So it's moving away less from the monetary value. It's more now a what do you call it? Fulfillment. Purpose driven. Purpose driven.
On that, bro, like how much money are you roughly making per month at the moment?
7.5 a week.
Yeah, so close to 30 grand a month. So
yeah, 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, bro, like obviously a lot of people would love to have that sort of income. Where do you think along the way you switched from just wanting to make money to being purpose driven? Why do you think that change happened, and where do you think it happened along the way?
At around the 80 clients, I kept losing, because the reason I kept losing because I didn't want to coach them. Like I just, not that I didn't want to coach, I just didn't want to put the effort into it. I wanted something higher purpose, like to help. Like, yes, everyone needs help, but my heart wasn't into it because I didn't relate to my avatar.
Yeah.
My niche. And that was around the 4K mark, around there, which is 16,000, 15K.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I know if I keep doing this, I'm not going to turn up. My business will go backwards. I don't have a heart for it, quite honestly speaking. And it's hard to hear this, but yeah. So, but then I was like, I need to change. I need to have a purpose to get up every morning at 5. Because if we believe in it, we'll get up at 5 no matter, even the alarm clock. I roll out of bed now at 5. I don't care. Just get it, kind of thing. And I know, look, I've got to help these guys from where they are to get to where they need to be. So that is the main key thing that kind of switched over, because I was realizing I was losing the people at the 80 mark because I wasn't really invested in that. Now I actually turn up and I invest everything in it. I'll go a bit extra sometimes to make, to help these guys, clients as well, and it makes me happy. So I'm making a change as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah.
No, that's amazing, bro. Because like we always hear it, and there's not too many people that sort of, I guess, cross the line to where we sort of get to in terms of having, more money than you can really spend. We can obviously make more, and we
I don't know about that, but yeah.
But there's a point where you get to, and you're like, you don't check your bank anymore. Like you can order whatever's on the restaurant. You can do whatever you want, and it's like you get to that point, and sometimes it is hard to get out of bed because you're no longer broke. You're no longer driven by, wondering if you're going to pay the rent. And I think what you said there, man, and it probably just shows in our business without the technical side of things, without, having the systems in place. Maybe it was just you just didn't want to get out of bed for it, and
yeah,
it's
hit the nail on the head with that one. Hit the nail on the head. It was like, sure, $4 grand a week. A lot of people, can cruise on that. That's just 200 something K a year. It's like shit. That's a lot. The average income in Australia is like 80,000, whatever it is, 90,000, and it's. I don't have to. I could just spend and buy. I was eating mud crab for $500 a dinner. You know this. Everyone, a lot of you guys know this. What I spend on. I was flying in jet planes for like a couple grand, whatever it was, just because you can. But the fact is there was no purpose behind it, and at a certain point, I started to lose the drive that I had. It was lucky I spoke to yourself, and you said you need the purpose, and that was one of the best advices, if not the best advice I've ever had in terms of business, is purpose. And it will get you out of bed, and it will keep you moving to the next level, to where I am now. I'm close to where I am now, 300,000, 350,000 a year, whatever it is. But I enjoy doing that now. I actually enjoy being where I am now. I actually enjoy doing it. Like, I'll turn up and do it and get out of bed and do it. That's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, bro. That almost brought a tear to my eye. Then it's one of those things where, like, I've been really revisiting what Mamba's all about, and potentially I've a little bit the same. It's like, what is this about? And it's about leadership. It's about passion. It's about resilience, and it's about obsession with becoming fucking amazing. And you embody that, bro, in so many ways. And it's awesome to hear that journey and that speak, bro, just all the way through this. And yeah, man, it really does. It fucking gives me goosebumps. It's pretty cool, bro. It's very, very cool. And so, bro, a couple of probably last question, and then I'll open it up to some Q&A. When it's all said and done, bro, you're a 70-year-old online coach living in Bali. You probably can't sell booty programs anymore. What do they write on the gravestone of your career, bro? What do they say at your funeral when you hang up the boots?
Here lies a man that's helped change other people's lives from nothing to from not literally nothing. So especially with the niche I deal with now, with all the substance abuse and stuff like that, to help them through it. The psychiatrists and psychologists do the mental side. We forget about the physiological side a lot of the time as well. And that is where I believe a lot in it as well, because it has helped myself a lot through my demons. I have PTSD and a bunch of other stuff because of what I had. So training and people take it for granted that training helps you. But until you're in the trenches and you do it, you don't know. And now I'm trying to help everyone else realize that as well, that there is not just that one aspect. We need the psychological side, but we need the physiological side as well to help us. Yeah.
Fucking amazing, bro. It's almost like it's a story of the phoenix. Everything gets burnt down, from the ashes rises the phoenix.
In saying that, I go to 3 different gyms now because I'm a bit of a gym hole. I just go around because I just like to change my stuff around. And if you're watching and you're I mean this bottom of my heart, if you're a trainer that's been in the trenches for a long time, 101, 10, and you want that freedom away from the 4 walls, you want that freedom to still impact and help people, but you don't want those, the restriction of those hours, those 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, you must make that change, because I know very sure, I'm speaking to a few of the trainers at the gyms I train at, I'm there at sometimes train at 6, and they're there, and you could see their faces, and we've all been there, and their faces are like hollow. It is. I want to help them, obviously, as well. I do speak to them; they're interested as well. I refer them to Mamba as well, but at the same time, it's up to yourself to look in the mirror and make that change, because you'll forever be stuck. And I've been there, everyone's been there. You'll forever be stuck in that wheel, and you'll forever be wondering what if. And do you see yourself at 40 plus doing what you do now? Do you see yourself at 40? Like, say, when you're young, a lot of them, they're young, they're 26, 27. I ask, at 40, do you see yourself getting up at 5 a.m. and finishing at 8 p.m. every day? Sometimes working. So they're in their Saturdays as well when I train. And I'm like,
Sunday.
And Sunday as well. And I'm like, just stressed out of your brain. How's your work? How's your family life? I rarely get to see my kids or spend time with my partner. It's a mess. So sure, do build the trenches in the beginning, but if you've been doing it a while and you need to get out, this is it. Look in the mirror and make that change. And whatever you've got to lose, really. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. No, yeah. No, very, very well said, bro. And yeah, man, thank you for your time, and thank you for everything you've put into Mamba and the community. And yeah, man, we can't thank you enough, bro. So yeah, you're a fucking legend, and yeah, we love you.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Cool. All right, team. We'll leave it there for today. Unless Leah's got any questions.